Folks, hello and welcome to Tavern Chat. I'm your host, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, your main proprietor of the Tenkar's Tavern blog. By the way, North Texas kicks off tomorrow evening, and I will be there for the North Texas kickoff, along with Rach. So, if you're at North Texas, please come by, say hello. You'll see me in the hallway, I'm sure. I'll be hard to miss. I've got this nice haircut now. Oh my God. What I do for my community. Get my hair cut. All right. So, in any case, let's move on. Gary Gygax, the DMG for first edition, is an amazing piece of work because not only is it totally disorganized, and it is, folks. Don't anybody go, oh, I can find anything there you've memorized over the last 40 years. That's not neither here nor there. Gary has a lot of stuff that I either haven't read since 1979, 1980, or I read and have since forgotten because there's just so much stuff in the 1E DMG. But this actually is very important because I know as a kid, as a teen, as an adult in the OSR, there's this argument that comes up frequently. What does hit points represent? Right? Because people want to know how AD&D, D&D, OSR rule sets, how realistic they are. Well, Gary tells you. He tells you right here. Approaches to playing advanced Dungeons and Dragons. A few brief words are necessary to ensure that the reader has actually obtained the game form which he or she desires. Well, that's interesting. That's thinking ahead. Of the two approaches to hobby games today, hobby games, right? That was mostly, at the time, miniatures, war games, that type of stuff. One is best defined as Realism Simulation School and the other as the Game School. AD&D is assuredly an adherent of the latter school. It does not stress any realism. In the author's opinion, an absurd effort at best considering the topic. It does little to attempt to simulate anything either. So, hit points really, folks, don't simulate anything except you getting better. This doesn't have a real world cognate. Advanced Dungeons and Dragons is first and foremost a game for the fun and enjoyment of those who seek to use imagination and creativity. This is not to say that where it does not interfere with the flow of the game, that the highest degree of realism hasn't been attempted. He contradicts himself, right? Kind of. It does not stress any realism, but we try to be real, keep the realism whenever we can. But neither is a serious approach to play discouraged. In all cases, however, the reader should understand that AD&D is designed to be an amusing and diverting pastime, something which can fill a few hours or consume endless days as the participants desire, but in no case something to be taken too seriously. For fun, excitement, and captivating fantasy, AD&D is unsurpassed. At the time, it was your choice was this or D&D or Tunnels and Trolls, pretty much. And I'm sure Civil and Sorcery was out by this time. But I digress. As a realistic simulation of things from the realm of make-believe, or even as a reflection of medieval or ancient warfare, or culture, or society, it can only be deemed a dismal failure. It is not a recreation. It is not a simulation. It doesn't intend to be. Readers who seek the latter must search elsewhere. Those who desire to create and populate imaginary worlds with larger-than-life heroes and villains, larger than life, even back then. Your heroes were supposed to be special, right? The average citizen with a 0 level character, you were first. You were special. You could advance. The average person could not. They never went to explain why that was, how you really achieved first level. Wasn't it wasn't a concern. It was a game element. That's all it was. Those who desire to create and populate imaginary worlds and larger than life heroes and villains who seek relaxation with a fascinating game and who generally believe games should be fun, not work, will hopefully find this system to be their taste. System to their taste. Now, there were games that came along that were work, right? You had to do all this fucking math, and I mean, the math in AD&D isn't huge, but you still got to do some. But it got bad. So now this has me thinking about game design. And yes, those are the two extremes: realism simulation and game school. And I'd rather play a game like D&D or Tunnels and Trolls or Open D6 or any of these other games that don't stress realism. They stress the gameplay. And yes, I can get into my character and pretend, but doesn't mean that I'm pretending that that character is real. Right? I'm not trying to simulate the real world experience in my fantasy gaming. And I think that's insightful from Gary. But I think it's also important to realize that the real world does not need to infiltrate your gaming. And maybe you do want something that's more realistic, and maybe you want more realism, not so much in the game stats and the game rules, but the game setting and the game dynamics and all that other stuff. And that's fine and dandy if that's what you are looking for. I think the vast majority of gamers are looking to enjoy the game school aspect. I could be wrong. I mean, GURPS goes kind of like the other extreme. It still gamifies, but it tries to do a lot of it based on this realism simulation testing of real world stuff. Right? That was the selling point. Listen, tell me what you think. Now, again, head out to North Texas tomorrow. I will try. I think I have a video for just after midnight, so I don't have to stress too much tomorrow. But that being said, let me know what you think on this one. Give me your thoughts. Was Gary right? Do we have to know why a fighter at 9th level can have the same hit points as a hill giant? Does it have to make sense? Does it have to fall into that realism simulation school? Or can we just go with the game school? I vote game school. All right, folks, on that note, be safe, be well, God bless, roll those dice, roll them well. Another video tomorrow. Oh, actually, I have a live stream tomorrow, too. Holy shit. All right, folks, catch you there. All right, laters.